Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the John DeVito Show. It is Thursday, so it's almost the weekend. We are here. It's almost time. And for the first time here, I'm actually trying to broadcast on TikTok right now as well. So we'll see how that goes because I'm kind of, as I've mentioned, kind of like a borderline boomer. So we'll see if this actually works. But so far, it seems to be working okay. So we're going to give this a go and just kind of see what happens as I try broadcasting my ugly mug on to the internet. So anyway, welcome everybody. Let's see, I see Mr. A saying he's stuck at a block yard waiting to get unloaded. All right, that sounds like fun. Jess Duck, welcome to the show. Eric, welcome to the show. So hey, it's Thursday in Boston. We hit actually 47 degrees yesterday. So it was like a heat wave in Massachusetts yesterday. It was absolutely amazing. So it's funny, 47 degrees in the Boston area. That basically means that you're going to be drinking an iced coffee, you're going to be wearing shorts, and if you have a convertible, the top may or may not be down because that's kind of, the beginning of spring. That's beautiful weather for us at this time of the year. So, I was out yesterday enjoying the day. Today's going to be kind of cold, but it looks like over the next 4 or 5 days, we're going to be up around 50 degrees in Massachusetts. Now, for you Southerners, I know that doesn't sound like much, but for us up here in the Northeast, that's a moral victory for all of us. So we're kind of excited to get that nice, warm weather. So, hey, things are going well here. Back from Florida, back in the mix with work and doing all that good stuff. And I see that my daughter just joined my TikTok along with Mr. A. Now, Caitlin, look at me. I've got my lighting, my ring lighting, my beautiful face is here on TikTok for everybody to see. And once people get on, they're going to probably see that face and then sign right off again because I'm going to probably scare them with my ugly mug. But thank you very much, Caitlin. I love that. It's good to see my daughter making fun of me. It's kind of what I'm used to. So, hey, I had to comment on something very briefly. I'm not going to talk about this for long, but some of you may have seen on Twitter, I had a little bit of a Twitter battle with Radio Parlesque or whatever the hell his name is. So he's a guy that's been in my show a couple of times. I made a couple of comments about Dr. Fauci, how I do not agree with mask mandates, and I got a nice educational, professional response back for him where he said, "Fuck you, John. Fuck you." So I like a guy that comes out and really presents a good argument when he doesn't agree with somebody, and that was pretty much his response. So he and I went back and forth on Twitter yesterday, and I invited him on my show. So if he comes on today and wants to give me some real reasons why he believes Dr. Fauci saying that we need to wear masks into 2022 is a good thing, then I'd be more than happy to give him some time to get on. So whatever, we'll see what happens with that. So anyway, you know what? Is the sound messing up? You know why, actually? Hold on one second. There may be a reason. I do not have my board plugged in properly. So hold on one second. Let me fix this little thing, and this should solve our problem, I believe. So let me find it. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Here is the problem. Let me plug this in, and this is going to solve the audio issues. Hold on one second. All right. How's that? Is that a little bit better? I just kind of, I think, solved the audio issues. So anyway, I was talking a little bit about the little Twitter battle I got into with a gentleman that was kind of giving me a hard time on Twitter. I've invited him to come on to my show and get on and tell us basically, why he feels that mask mandates are a good idea. It was kind of funny. I saw an article this morning out of England that was saying this year that they literally have not diagnosed one case of COVID in England this year. of flu, actually of flu. So England has not diagnosed one case of the flu in the entire country of England. And I was asking my wife about that this morning because she's in healthcare. And I asked her the same question, saying, out of curiosity, I saw this article out of England where they haven't diagnosed, anybody with the flu, the common flu this year. Why is that? Are you seeing it? My wife said the same thing. In her practice, she has not diagnosed one person with the common flu. So I said to her, why is that? Can you explain why people aren't getting the flu this year? Well, she said it's probably because people are wearing their masks this year and they're not getting the flu. So I said, okay, so if people are wearing their masks and that's preventing them from getting the flu, then why aren't the masks preventing them from getting COVID? So who knows? You couldn't really answer that question. And I'm not really sure exactly why that is, in fact, a thing at this point. So anyway, there's something I want to talk about today. I kind of missed this, I guess, over the course of the last week while I was gone away, from the area because I wasn't really watching the news. But one thing I've seen a lot of the last couple of days is Coca Cola and what they're doing right now. I've been a guy that has enjoyed my occasional Coca Cola from time to time over the years. And I saw that now the company Coca Cola is training their employees to be less white. Okay, I get it. I get it. We're in a time now in our country, here we are, it's 2021, and you've had certain types of people that have maybe been oppressed over the years in this country. And, in my opinion, like I've talked about many times, the oppression of these people hasn't really happened, by or from Republicans. It's really kind of happened more with the Democratic Party with things like welfare and things like that to keep certain people down and don't allow them to prosper in this country. So now the answer in this country is to come out and now start punishing white people for what's going on. Now, Coca-Cola, so they're an American company. They sell their poison to everybody in this country. I mean, I don't think anybody here can say that drinking a Coca-Cola is good for your health. They're loaded with calories. There's carbonation. There's just, it's basically a can or a bottle of crap is what they serve us, right? And my father, it was funny, my father showed me back in the day, back in the 50s and 60s, one of the solutions they had back in the day, and some of you may do this now, is if you have a battery in your vehicle, your car, your truck, whatever, and if there's corrosion around the battery, my father would actually take a can of Coke and pour it onto the connectors on his battery. And he showed me one time that he did this, and literally the Coke dissolves the corrosion on your battery as you pour it on there. And if you think about it, you're putting this stuff in your body. And I mean, who knows? people attribute all the cancers and things like that we have in this world to cigarettes. Maybe some of these cancers have to do with Coca-Cola and other related products like this that have literally been poisoning us as Americans for 100 years. So okay, Coca-Cola, big company, they've made a lot of money. A lot of people have drink Coke, drink soda, whatever. So now they're going to come out in this new culture and they're going to provide training. I see Mr. Ray down there on my TikTok saying, man, you definitely have a face for radio. There's no doubt about that. Why do you think I don't want to do video? I'm perfect for radio. I get a decent voice and I look like Shrek. So I try to avoid video whenever I can. So you're right. I agree with you 100%. But regarding Coca-Cola, if you look at what they're doing now, they're training their employees on how to act less white. All right, first of all, what does it mean to be less white? I mean, I'd like to know exactly what that is. I mean, I guess I'm considered white. I mean, really, I don't even consider myself to be white. I'm Italian. I'm Irish. I'm German. I have a lot of different backgrounds. I'm French. So really, I'm kind of like a mixing of a lot of different cultures, from my different grandparents and great-grandparents that came into this country from different places. So I guess, I always do this when I have to check off a box on like an application or something like that. There's always the option to check off Caucasian. And I never really feel like that completely encompasses who I am. I mean, I guess I'm Caucasian, but I'm really not. I'm from many different places. So, we can look at that to start with. But for Coca-Cola to come out and say they're going to train their employees to be less white. Now, when did it become a thing in this country where we should shame anybody for the color of their skin? Now, of course, today, if you're white, you're a white supremacist. If you followed Trump. I mean, you're a white supremacist. You're against, all other people in this country. And I want to be the person that comes in here and says point blank that that's bullshit. It's not true. I mean, I supported Trump. I am white, I guess, for lack of a better description. And, for me, I look at different races of people, not by the color of their skin, but the type of person that they are. I mean, do I think Black Americans should have the same opportunities as white Americans? Absolutely, they should. Should they get the same level of education that white Americans get? Absolutely, they should. Black, Hispanic, Irish, Italian, German, Asian, whatever you are, if you're in this country, you should have equal opportunity to succeed and do well in this country. And that means you should have access to education. You should have access to jobs. The color of your skin should mean literally nothing. When I look at a person, I really don't see the color of someone's skin. I don't care. I see, is it a good person? Is it a bad person? Is it someone that I respect or someone I don't respect? There are a lot of white people that I don't like and I don't respect. We could talk about Joe Biden. He's one of them. I think he's trash. I think he's garbage. I think he's an embarrassment to our country. So I look at guys like him and I think, right, exactly, Jess. You don't get to choose your skin color. And again, everyone wants to come out now and punish white people. Coca Cola, they're going to train their people on how to be less white. Give me a break. How about train your people to be decent people? Train all of your people, Black, white, Asian, whatever they may be. Train them to be good people, to be good members of the community, to do the right thing in life. And I've said for many, many years, I think our public schools should have an option where you can have actual training for children on how to be good people in society, because that's one thing we've lost in society is, really children do not get any type of training on what it means to truly be a good person, in society and do the right thing and benefit people and not to bully and all the different things that happen. So Coca-Cola thinks they're going to change the world by coming out and training their people on how to be less white. Coca-Cola, let me be clear, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. What you're doing is racist. What you're doing is targeting one color of the population and beating them down. It's not right when it's done to Black people. It's not right when it's done to Hispanic people. And it is not right when it's done to white people. When are we going to get to the place in this country where we stop judging people by their sexuality, by the color of their skin, and look at people for who they truly are? The color of one's skin does not matter. It does not matter. And it's not the Republicans most times that are saying that the color of one's skin matters. It's the left. It's the left. It's the Democrats that are constantly pushing the division in this country between people of different cultures, between people of different sexualities. I saw a couple of TikTok videos last night where, there was a guy talking about, he's a Republican, but he was talking about the things he supports. And I thought it was a great TikTok video. And I'd like to get on the list of things also that I feel. Now, I'm a Republican. I voted for Trump, and I would never vote for Joe Biden. I think he's an embarrassment to the country. But let's get on the list of things I believe, okay? Do I believe that white people should have advantage over Black and Hispanic people? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Everyone should get a fair opportunity. The gentleman that grows up wherever he grows up, if it's in the inner city, if it's wherever he is, even if they, if they have money, they don't have money, they should have the opportunity to send their children to good schools, to get good educations, to have the opportunity to go into college or maybe a trade school if that's what they prefer. Get out and live the American dream of getting a job based on merit and earning money and providing their family a better life, okay? So do I feel that white people deserve a privilege over Black people? Absolutely not. And I don't think it exists, quite frankly. I think the whole argument of white privilege is bullshit. And it's something that's put out there by the left trying to discredit white people again, So, again, do I believe that one race of people should get more than the other? Absolutely not. Do I believe in gay marriage? Okay, I'm a Republican. Do I believe that people who are gay should be able to fall in love and get married? Absolutely. Absolutely. From my perspective, I don't care if you're heterosexual, if you're transgender, if you're gay, whatever it may be. I believe that if you are gay, God created you to be gay. I believe that, again, for me, I was 12, 13 years old. I woke up one day and realized I like girls. For gay people, they wake up one day and they look at it the other way, where they like boys or girls based on the same sex that they are. Should gay people be allowed to get married? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Because again, in my opinion, love is love. If you've got two men together that love each other, or two women together that love each other, and why shouldn't they have the opportunity to get married and live a life together when it's based on love, respect? And I just don't understand why gay marriage is a bad thing. I mean, I guess you can look at the Bible. I mean, I did grow up Catholic, and I know that technically in the Bible it says that marriage is supposed to be between a man and a woman. But again, I don't believe that was meant to be taken literally. I think for the reproduction of our species, yes, men and women can reproduce. Men really can't reproduce with other men, and women can't with other women unless you use medical procedures. But for me, color of your skin shouldn't matter. Your sexuality shouldn't matter. None of these things matter. Now, abortion, that's another big thing that you always hear about in the media. You talk about abortion. Do I agree with abortion? This is a tough one for me. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not a woman. It's not my body. I don't have to make the decision to do something to my body. And I can say, 100% that if I get a woman pregnant, I mean, it's certainly, a much more difficult decision for her to make than it is for me to make, because if we decide together to get an abortion, I'm not the one that has to go in and get the medical procedure. I'm not the one that has to live with, the fallout of thinking, did I do the right thing by ending my pregnancy? So do I believe in abortion? I think technically I do not, because I do believe in life. I do believe, and I've said this before, I guess I've said that I am pro-choice. I say, wait till the baby is 2 or 3 years old and ask them if they want to live, and give them the choice to decide as to whether or not they want to have a life. But I also understand that I am in no moral position to tell a woman what to do with her own body. So for me, I almost have to say I have to take a pass, because I'm a man, on the abortion stance, because I don't think I can make an informed decision as to whether or not that's right. And you always get people that come out and talk about, if someone was raped or whatever. I mean, again, if someone was forced against their will and they're pregnant, it's still a life. But again, they didn't make the choice to actually become pregnant with that baby. So abortion is a tough one. So I would say that I am probably pro-life, but I would not fight against pro-choice if I was in a power position in this country, because I do think that women have to have the right to choose for themselves. So when you hear a lot of the things about Republicans, you hear about all these things that Republicans stand for. It's not necessarily true. It's not true. I don't stand for all these things. What I stand for is I stand for a country that allows their people to make decisions for themselves. I believe in free speech. I believe in the right to bear arms. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in equality for all people, regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of any of those type of things. That is what I believe in. But I'm a Republican. And I look at now, what we're seeing in this country with Jersey Joe Biden. He's doing all the things we expected, right? So Biden, so far, he has signed 40 executive orders. If you haven't noticed, in Massachusetts here anyway, we have now gas prices approaching $3 a gallon. We had been, I think, at $2.20 a gallon back in December. So here we are in February, we're approaching $3 a gallon. And, you heard about one of the things that really got me about Biden is, he criticized Trump about what he did to manage COVID, right? So, Biden was going to tell us his big plan for managing COVID when he became president. And what did he do? What did Biden do when he came out? He finally became president, and he came out and tweeted and said, well, now that I'm president, my big plan is everybody wear 2 masks, and there's nothing we can really do to contain the trajectory of COVID. So this guy did nothing but badmouth our previous president and told us that he had a plan, when in actuality his plan was nothing. So it was absolutely nothing. So yeah, forgotten tunes, I get it. Staying away from that topic, it's a tough topic. And it's one that people get very angry about when you talk about the rights to abortion and things like that. I mean, people who are very religious, do not believe in abortion, and I get that. But I also get as well the fact that women should have the right to control their own body as well. It's their body. And I mean, how do you come in and tell a woman, no, you cannot do this to your own body? And I think that's a very slippery slope to get onto. Eric Kirk mentioned up above, taxpayer money shouldn't be used for funding abortions, period. I agree completely. Because if you're a person in this country and you do not agree with abortion and you morally feel that an abortion is a sin, then your tax money, you should not be forced to send your tax money to any entity that actually goes out and performs abortions, because then you're not even given your will. You're not given your free choice of deciding whether or not you want to fund abortion. Your money is being taken out of your paycheck and being sent to places where they're aborting babies. And if you are someone that is morally against that because of your religion, you're not given a choice. So I agree completely that those type of things should not be taxpayer funded. I agree completely. So Eric, if you want to call in, give me a buzz. I'm going to be on for about an hour today. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do, but I wanted to get in and just talk a little bit today. Eric, welcome to the show. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Hey, listen, I want to talk a couple things real quick also. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what you were thinking? And
like I was saying about that I'm not in agreement with taxpayer money funding abortions, because, I mean, it should be no secret and no surprise that Planned Parenthood is corrupt to the core. And I remember listening to like a segment of Jay Sekulo's radio show like 11 or 12 years ago, when he had a caller that I really agreed with, said, instead of sending taxpayer money to Planned Parenthood, let's just use that money to bail out Social Security and Medicare instead.
Yeah, no, I'm a guy again. You talk about Republican versus Democrat, right? I mean, Social Security and Medicare are social programs, right? I agree with them both completely. And I agree that hey, Interstellar, give me a second. We're chatting. I'll let you call in a few minutes. So give me a few minutes and we'll let you call in. But so no, I agree. Social Security and Medicare, I think that they should happen. I think Social Security is a great thing. I mean, for me, there are a lot of people out there that can't afford to pay into a 401k. There are a lot of people out there that don't get pensions and are not going to have that ability to retire. I think about my grandmother.
Well, you've got to think about, disabled folks who can never work another day again in their lives.
Yeah. Well, I look at my grandmother. My grandmother worked in factories her whole life. She worked her ass off. She worked in hat factories and plastics factories and things like that. She never made very much money, and she certainly could not save for retirement. So she had two options: either work to your dead, God bless you, either work to your dead or get Social Security. So luckily, she was able to pay into Social Security for her life, and she never really got a lot of money, but she at least got enough money where she could pay for food and have the things. Oh, you're right. It's totally not enough money, Jess. I see your comment.
Well, that is true, Jess.
Oh, it's not even close. Well, I look at what my son got. My son, Matt, as you know, who's on the autism spectrum, he is 18 and he got approved for Social Security. And he actually got less than what I expected. Like I know, Eric, you were saying you get a certain amount. Matt, I think is going to be getting
the maximum amount that I'm allowed because I pay more than $400 a month in rent. So I think I'm getting about $793 a month for the year 2021.
Right. Well, I think part of that probably is because Matt's still living at home, but I think Matt is getting like roughly $550 a month.
Because they're looking at you and Dr. Cheryl as being like in-kind income.
Right.
Because so, if you're not charging him $400 a month in rent, then he's not going to get the most. It's going to be basically half that.
Right. So hopefully he'll get a chance to get more money when he gets out, because again, he certainly could not live on his own getting $550 a month in Social Security, especially up here in the Northeast where it's a very expensive place to live. So yeah, Social Security is not enough for people to live on, but I do agree that it's a good thing. I think some social programs are good things for Americans. Social Security is one, Medicare is another. I support them both. So here I am. Here's a Republican that basically says that he doesn't agree, with a lot of the things the Republican Party supposedly is supposed to agree with, but I'm still a Republican, I'm going to give Interstellar a chance. He's calling in, so we're going to pop him into the call here. Interstellar, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Hi.
Oh, it's you. You're back again.
Yeah.
You were Darth yesterday.
Yeah. It changed, I think.
You changed your name today.
I think so.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? You said that your name or your age is 69, if I remember from yesterday.
Yeah.
So tell me more about yourself.
So, okay. So there's a thing So my favorite cutlery tool.
Uh-oh, he's laughing. He lost it. What is that noise? What are you doing?
Sounds like they're having like a laughing or giggling fit. Are you blowing your nose?
No.
Oh, was that you? Oh my God, what's going on over there? Oh, are you sitting on the toilet again?
My favorite.
Come on, hold it together, brother.
Mr. A says you need to better your troll game.
I know, he's laughing too much today. What happened, man?
What? My. Wait a minute.
All right, brother. You got to work on your game. We're disconnecting you today, man. You didn't come prepared to play. So we're going to have you come back. Now, if you're coming on the John DeVito show, you got to bring your A game if you're going to be a troll. So you make sure you hold in that laughing and come together prepared tomorrow for the next show. So anyway, Eric.
I think Henderson says I'll be back in like 5 minutes, but hey, you haven't met Homeboy 88, aka El Gato.
Oh, Homeboy's awesome. He's my favorite troll. I don't even consider him a troll. He's a friend, so I like Homeboy coming into my show whenever he does. But anyway, going back to what we were talking about, we started talking about a little bit about Coca Cola, and I want to get back into that again. I mean, enough is enough with this garbage. All right, enough is enough. Let's stop now shaming white people, punishing white people. Let's stop right now attacking the white people. For the years in this country, I mean, again, black people haven't been treated right. Hispanic people haven't been treated right. Minorities haven't been treated right. But most times, they haven't been treated right by the left that have been purposely holding them down with social programs like welfare. So now, all of a sudden, we're hearing white privilege. We're hearing about toxic masculinity. We're hearing about, again, Coca Cola punishing people who work for the country who are, quote unquote, too white. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. This is America. All right. This is America. This is a country it's a free country. And it's about time that we stop letting the powers that be in this country. When I mean that, I mean politicians, I mean wealthy people, I mean corporations. The media, they need to stop dividing us. They need to stop dividing the American people. We are one country. We are one United States of America. And I'll tell you, I saw recently someone was posting an old speech by Malcolm X. And for whatever reason, Malcolm X was always described as a guy that was militant, that was against, white people and things like that. If you go back and you listen to Malcolm X was brilliant. Malcolm X was progressive. He was brilliant. And he was right on the mark with a lot of different things that he said. And he gave a speech back in the 1960s where Malcolm X was saying that the liberal left were basically more manipulative with black Americans, where they purposely used them as a political football. They kept them down. You can see this video all around TikTok right now. And when you listen to Malcolm X talk about the way the liberal left basically pretended to be the friend of black Americans, and what have they done with that friendship? They've done nothing but exploit the people on the left. They haven't given them educations. They're living, some of them, in crappy situations. They don't have jobs. They're hooked on welfare. That's not the right that's done that. Those aren't the Republicans that have purposely held down a whole race of people. So, again, we talked about it before. When I hear about white privilege, I'm sorry, where the fuck was my privilege? I missed it. I didn't get any white privilege. I still don't have white privilege. I've worked my ass off my entire life for everything I've ever gotten. I wasn't given, I wasn't given money to go to college. I wasn't given money to buy a house. I mean, I worked my ass off. My wife worked her ass off, and there was no privilege involved. I went to college because I wasn't a great student, but I could knock people down. So I was a football player, and I spent hours upon hours upon hours lifting weights, running, working out, getting the living shit beat out of me for 4 years at a Division I college, playing sports so I could get an education. There was no privilege in there. Come strap on the helmet with me for a couple of weeks and take on guys that are 6'8", 335 pounds that are on steroids that can bench 500 pounds, and tell me how much privilege there is at playing Division I football. I got my ass beat for 4 years, and that's privilege. That's the privilege you're talking about. It's garbage. So Coca Cola now is going out and telling employees, we need to teach you to be less white. Less white. Coca Cola. Let me be clear. Fuck you. I will never drink one of your products again. And honestly, anybody out there in this
not
country,
any better either.
They're ridiculous. Now, did you see also Coca-Cola had this training program, and now they took it down from all their websites because they're getting all type of backlash over this. I mean, could you imagine? Now, imagine this. Now, imagine if a company came out. Could you imagine if, let's say, McDonald's came out and they said, all right, we're getting, we have a lot of our stores in inner cities. We need to come up with a training video telling our African American employees to be less black. Could you imagine what that would be like if you had a company that came out and said that about African Americans in this country, but it's okay to say it about white people? Fuck you, Coca-Cola. That's all I have to say. Fuck you.
Well, you know what? The son of Herschel Walker, Christian Walker, would be saying about Coke's latest political statement that? The training their employees to be less white. It doesn't make you woke. It makes you dumb.
It does. It's stupid. I mean, honestly, okay, let me see it in the chat. Now, I don't even know. I mean, how do you train someone to be less white? Okay. I mean, what do I do? All right, here I am. I mean, I'm a 53-year-old white guy. What do I do to be less white? I mean, help me. Someone tell me what I need to do in the chat. How do I be less white? I mean, where do you start? I mean, I don't think I talk like a white person. Maybe I do. I mean, I guess I'm not that light skinned. In the summer, I get tanned. So I mean, do I need to tan more? I mean, what do I do to be less white? I don't understand. I mean, how is someone white? I don't even know what that means. It's just stupid. Absolutely stupid.
And I've cut back drastically on consuming soft drinks, anyways.
Me too. It's crap.
Because
it's garbage. It poisons you.
Like I said, next month I'm going back to the dentist in hopes of getting a few cavities filled. And because they say those Coca-Cola soft drinks are too sugary and are not good for your teeth.
Look at Sandor. I like that comment. There it is. That is what people want. Look at Sandor's comment. Curl up in a ball and die. That's what they want white people to do at this point. They want us to curl up into the fetal position, realize we're evil, and just give in to all this bullshit that's happening in this country right now. And do not confuse my statements. Do not confuse my statements. I am not saying that white people are better than anybody else. They have an advantage over anybody else. They are not. Everybody in this country should not be judged on the color of their skin, on their sexuality, anything like that. People should all be treated the same. It's this government that has completely gone down the road. This government, these media outlets, and all these companies who want to divide and conquer us, they're spewing this bullshit so they can control us. They don't want black and white Americans to come together. They don't want Hispanic and black Americans and white Americans to come together. Because if we come together and we finally realize, man, these guys have been fucking us for 100 years now, then we're a population that can't be controlled anymore. Because take a look. We're being controlled right now. We're being controlled. There's no way around it, you know?
Well, you know what George Carlin said? They don't want a society capable of critical thinking. They want, in his words, obedient workers.
Obedient workers. That's exactly what they want. That little clip I played from George Carlin. And if you guys, I know that George Carlin was older.
Well, and as politically incorrect as George Carlin and, Andrew Dice Clay and Roseanne Barr and Joan Rivers may have been, back in the old days, even when him and Joan Rivers were still living, they told some very crude humor jokes that we could look back on and say, boy, they were telling the truth.
Yeah. They were. I mean, that George Carlin was a genius. If you're not familiar with his comedy, look up George Carlin and watch some of his old videos on YouTube.
They don't want unity. They want conformity, Mike.
I know. Well, George Carlin was not just a comedian. He was also, he would get on and he would talk about, political issues in society, and he broke them down brilliantly. He was a very smart man. And he came on and said that. He goes, basically, they want a workforce that's educated, but not too educated. They want obedient people to go to work, do their jobs, and shut their damn mouths. And that's kind of what they want. And that is completely, in my opinion, what the Democratic Party wants more than anything. The Republican Party also to a point, but I think that the Democratic Party leads this country in political division. They want control of the people. They are a government-run group. They want government control. And that does not mean people uniting and speaking up for themselves. Because if you look what happened, if we go back again to January 6th and what happened at the Capitol, was it wrong? Yeah, it was wrong. And do I agree with violence? Let me be clear. I don't agree with violence on the left or the right. If Democrats are committing violence, it's wrong. If Republicans are committing violence, it is wrong. There is no right in violence. But what happened on January 6th at the Capitol was wrong. However, I believe that there was some embellishment as to what happened there. I don't believe it was cut and dry because I don't think it was all Trump supporters that were rushing that Capitol building. I think it was an orchestrated attempt to discredit Trump and discredit the people. Now, if you look at the people that have supported Trump, okay, now they're not ignorant people, but what everyone's told is they're ignorant rednecks who are racist, who are white supremacists, gun-toting rednecks from the South, whatever. It's not true. It's not true. I mean, you may get some bad eggs or bad apples in the bunch of Republicans, just like you do in every group in the world. But for the most part, with the Republican Party, you've got people that are God-fearing people. You've got people that have served their country as Marines, Navy SEALs, Air Force, Army, whatever, Navy, and they've gone out and they've served their country. They're hardworking Americans. They believe in the Constitution. They believe in free speech. They believe in, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and they're Americans. They love this country. They fly the American flag, and they are proud to be Americans. But now you have companies like Coca Cola. You have the government who are all working together now to punish these people. So the fabric of this country, these white Americans that live across the country, 74 million strong that voted for Donald Trump, they're being punished. They're being beaten down. They're being told that they're white supremacists. If you follow Trump, you're evil. You're not evil. It's bullshit. It's the government trying to paint you into a corner and punish you because you dared to stand up against the swamp, against the political machine who's looking to control all of us. And that's exactly what's happening right now. What happened on January 6th?
Basically, standing up against their mafia.
You are. We're standing up against the mafia. We're going up against the mafia, and they are making it clear. The left, Pelosi, and now when I say the left,
and Mad Maxine and others.
Let's add Mitch McConnell into that group. Let's add Mitt Romney into that group. It's not just left. It's also people who are on the right. So when you add these politicians in, they are punishing us. They said, okay, those insurrectionists, how dare they try to come and take over our capital? So if you support them in any way, we are going to bury you. You're a white supremacist, or you're a redneck, you're ignorant, you're uneducated, you're non-American. They are punishing Trump voters. They are punishing the people that have systematically supported Republicans for years, and they are doing it to advance their cause, to advance their control. And still to this day, I mean, I get it's kind of an apples and oranges comparison. What happened at the Capitol was different than what happened over the summer. And I've said over and over again, I do not agree with what happened to George Floyd. I did 2 shows back in the summer, both titled George Floyd Was Murdered. All right. So that's kind of where I stood on the whole George Floyd situation. I don't care if he had drugs in his system. I don't care if he was a bad guy. What happened to him that day was wrong. It shouldn't have happened. I'm not there to judge the police officers that did it, but in my opinion, George Floyd was murdered, and I get why there was outrage. I do understand it. However, if you're going to come out and say what happened on January 6th was a threat to this country, then you have to come out after the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa rallies or riots that literally burnt down cities, killed 4 times as many people as the January 6th uprising. And you had politicians like Pelosi, Camel Toe Harris, you had Maxine Waters, who are out encouraging the violence. They were coming out and saying, let it burn, keep it coming. So when people were losing their businesses, when their businesses were being looted, when police officers were being attacked, beaten, and shot, when people were dying, when cities were literally burning to the ground and Antifa was taking over factions of cities, you had the Democrats coming out and cheering it on and supporting. Where was the outrage when all of that happened? Where was the outrage? There was none. There was none. There was no outrage. And again, if you're going to be outraged about what happened on January 6th, you have to play it both sides. Either you're for violence or you're against violence. Which way is it? You know what I mean, Eric? I mean, I know I'm ranting a little bit, but I'm kind of fired up about Coca Cola. That really pissed me off this morning when I saw that. And I may be behind it a little bit because I know this has been out for a few days, but I haven't been watching the news. But I mean, Eric, you must see the
Well,
double
I'm in the
standard.
middle
Right?
of
Am I crazy? Or am I
the dishwasher.
right? But I mean, you must see the double standard. Am I crazy? Am
Oh,
I
yeah.
off the mark? Yeah,
And well, I guess they want to play selective moral outrage because, like, think back to when Hillary's run for president, not once but twice. And when she was running against Barack Obama, that she's like, we have a right to a debate and to disagree with any administration, but then I think later on she just went back on that.
Right. Well, now, another thing I saw yesterday. All right. Now speak to me here. Mike, thank you for that. I appreciate you in the chat. Now, did everyone see the story yesterday? What's that woman? Jen Psaki or whatever the hell her name is.
Jen Psaki. I think we like to call her Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, right. And don't get me wrong. I think she's attractive. I think she's an idiot, but I think she's attractive. I think she's pretty. But
I've heard other people call her that nickname.
But now, what I saw yesterday, did you see she was asked the question? Because they were claiming that Joe Biden was in the Oval Office yesterday. But apparently there was no Marine stationed outside of the Oval Office. And you had a lot of Marines and different people that came out and said, when there's no Marine outside of the Oval Office, that means there is no president in front of the Oval Office. So she was asked that question saying, you're saying that Joe Biden's in the Oval Office. Why was there no Marine stationed outside? We were told that that's pretty much 100% what happens when the president's there. There was always a Marine on guard protecting the president. And she was kind of like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, blah, blah, blah. There were Marines coming out on TikTok that were doing their videos. And they were talking about that point blank saying, hey, listen, let me be clear. I'm a Marine. If there was no Marine at the Oval Office, Joe Biden was not there. And I guess my question is, you've got the barbed wire all around the Capitol building, all around the White House. And there's a lot of question as to whether or not Joe Biden has even been in Washington, D.C. Is he on like a soundstage someplace? Is he in a reproduction of the Oval Office someplace else? I mean, I kind of believe that Biden hasn't even been in Washington, D.C. I believe he's someplace else. He's being hidden for whatever reason. And I'm not sure why, that's the case. But it seems like he has not been in D.C. at all. And to me, that's kind of a conspiracy. And now to talk a little bit more about even the wall. We've got that wall in D.C. around the Capitol building. We've got the wall in D.C. around the White House. Wasn't it the Democrats that came out and said that walls don't work, right? We can't build that border wall down in the South to keep illegal immigrants out. But we can build a wall in D.C. to keep the American people out. So which way is it left? Do walls work? Do they not work? Which way is it? I mean, it seems like for whatever reason, walls in D.C. to protect your own self-interest work. But if you're looking to keep illegal immigrants, who someday will be Democratic voters, out of this country, then there's no point in putting a wall up there. They'll find a way around it. So I see all the double standards and all the bullshit that this government throws out at us all the time. And to me, it's just exhausting. It's frustrating. And really, it just spits in the face of the American people. They think we're stupid. They think we're stupid, and they think we're just going to take everything that's handed to us on a silver platter. And I guess a lot of people do. So a lot of people, I guess, do believe everything that they're fed. But I'm one that's kind of tired of the bullshit. I don't know about all of you out there, but I'm tired of the bullshit. I want a political entity in this country that will be fair, that will be honest, and will start representing the people of this country instead of representing themselves and representing the ultra rich, because that's not what we're seeing right now. Our government doesn't give a shit about any of us. If you're a Democrat and you think Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi care about you, they don't care if you're alive. They don't care if you're dead. They don't care if you have food, if you're starving. They don't care about you. And the Republicans are no better. If you think they care about you, they do not. The politicians in this country are out there to represent themselves, and that's pretty much all it's at. So I see all this crap that's going on in the country right now, and I'd like to know, is Joe Biden really in Washington? Is he even making any of the calls right now in this country? Because anytime you see that man speak, he can't form a coherent sentence. I mean, the man, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, he has dementia. And I'm not saying that to be mean. My father has dementia, and dementia is a very personal thing to me. I've watched my father the last couple of years cognitively get worse. He repeats himself over and over again. He has trouble, staying on task. He can't pay his bills anymore. We have to do that for him. He can't do his taxes. He can't drive. He can't order food. And it's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to have to watch somebody you love, go through the stages of dementia. But again, when you look at Biden, I honestly think my father is better off than Joe Biden is. My father is a better communicator than Biden. Biden doesn't really repeat himself as much. But if you watch videos of Joe Biden from like 15 or 20 years ago, I mean, Joe Biden didn't stutter as much as he does now. It's not a speech impediment. He's not misspeaking. He is in cognitive decline. And we're all supposed to believe as American people that he got 81 million votes. I mean, a guy that campaigned in his basement, that can't form a coherent sentence, but he got more votes than Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, Barack Obama. Joe Biden's the man. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. And I don't know. I find that very hard to believe. So he could be on his deathbed. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he was, Let's see. I see Mike from Tampa Bay. Sorry, I'm not really paying attention to the chat. I'm looking at my beautiful face on TikTok, which I'm sorry for the people who are watching me on TikTok. I know I'm ugly. I have the perfect face for radio, but what are you going to do? It is what it is. So I can't make myself more beautiful. And I've got now my new ring light. So I feel like I'm not as much of a borderline boomer anymore. So I've got like a ring light. But what they don't teach you with the ring light, like if you look, the people on Podbean can't see it, but I get like the shine in the top of my head now. So I need some makeup to kind of dull that shine on the top of my head right now on TikTok so I don't blind all the people that are watching me there. So I don't know, man. It's just crazy times we're living in. Crazy times we're living in. Now, I went out recently and I have emailed Juanita Broderick, and I've also emailed Tara Reade. For those of you that don't know who they are, Juanita Broderick is the woman who claimed that Bill Clinton violently raped her. And Tara Reade is the intern that was working with Joe Biden that said that Joe Biden shoved her up against the wall and also attacked her violently and raped her with his fingers. And I've reached out to both of them. I'm hoping to have both of them on the air. They probably won't write back. I mean, who are we kidding? I'm a little small podcast and they're a lot bigger than what I am. But I'm hoping maybe we'll get some luck to have maybe one of those people reach out to me. But as I posted something about Joe Biden and that whole thing with Tara Reade a couple of years ago, did any of you see the story that I posted on Twitter about Joe Biden from back in 2014? Now, this is Biden when he was a vice president under Obama. And apparently he liked to go for late night swims. Now, this is something that was actually published, if I remember correctly, in Time magazine. So it was a left-leaning publication. So you can't say it was like, Breitbart or one of those organizations. But Joe Biden used to like to go out for late night swims. In those swims, he usually went naked when he had female Secret Service people working for him. And the female Secret Service people would come out and say how disgusted they were by seeing at that point that whatever it was, 72, 73-year-old man out there swimming naked in front of them. And a lot of them came out and they called him a pervert. They called him disgusting. And I mean, this is the guy we elected as president. We elected a guy as president in this country that has a history, as you've seen, of sniffing children. He's got sexual harassment claims against him. He swam naked in front of female Secret Service agents. And that now, Eric, I don't know if you saw this, his daughter came out and wrote a publication, kind of like a diary about growing up with Joe Biden. And she talks about she is still mentally scarred by having to take showers and baths with Joe Biden when she was not really that young of a young girl at this point. So honestly, who the hell is this guy that we put into office? He's a creepy motherfucker. And the Democrats defend him to the end of the earth. And I don't get it. I mean, did you see the thing about his daughter coming out saying that she's mentally
I heard you talk about that the other day. But I mean, and I think it's just beyond despicable that, it's like, Joe Biden and any other Dems and Republicans who have behaved badly, that's okay. But it's not okay for Donald Trump to behave badly, or if they be like, we behaved badly, but we're just going to blame it on Donald Trump because, Donald Trump's the boogeyman.
Well, honest to God, you can say that. Like, I've seen it. Like, again, I've got my TikTok people watching me right now. And thank you for everyone admiring my beauty. I know I'm too beautiful to look at, but thank you for getting on and seeing me visually here on TikTok. But I see a lot of people that have been taught, you get into certain threads and you have people pointing out all the things about Joe Biden. He's done this, he's done that. Bill Clinton raped people, stuck a cigar in Monica Lewinsky, whatever. But then you have people come out and say, well, Donald Trump said, grab him by the pussy. Okay. Was it the right thing to say? No, it was obviously inappropriate. It was stupid. It was disgusting. I've never used that term in my life, except here on Podbean and TikTok. But, him saying something disgusting is not the same as a guy that has a history of systematic abuse, all over. And you've seen it, And I see that Brandon just joined me. Madden 2020 needs Randy Moss. That's my son joining me on TikTok. I recognize the username. So thank you for joining me, Mr. Brandon. Good to see you down there. Give me a wave if you get a chance. But I don't know, man. The stuff that's going on in this country is just crazy. I mean, you look at, everything that's happened over the last 5 years. I guess another question I have, we've heard so much about Biden. We've heard so much about Clinton. We've heard so much about all the politicians and famous people that were on Epstein's Island. They've got Justine Maxwell now in custody, right? Where are the reports? Why has it been so silent? Why do we have the person basically that ran Epstein Island for Epstein? She booked everybody, got everybody there, had all the girls there. Why aren't we hearing about names? Why aren't we hearing about the names of the people that went to Epstein Island? I mean, we know Bill Clinton, was on the airplane, not once, not twice, not 8 times, not 14 times, but 26 times. 26 times Bubba Clinton was on the plane to Epstein's Island. There's pictures of him with young girls. And I don't think he was there, probably to play pickleball and bocce. I think that Bill Clinton was probably there to have some 14-year-old girls play pickleball with him, is kind of what I'm guessing. So, but we're seeing all this shit going on in the country. Where is the talk? Where is the talk about Epstein Island? Where is the talk about all of the abuse and the sex trafficking and all the things that happened with the wealthy left and the right that were all on that island? It's all behind all this stuff that we're seeing right now. And I think that the government and the media, they run distractions on purpose. So we stop thinking about issues and things that are going on. Let me go up into the comments a little bit. I see Sarmenti. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to you guys. Did he rescind some talent program that Trump started? I'm sure he probably did. I mean, his goal has been to eliminate anything good that Trump has done. And I really thanked him yesterday when I paid almost $3 a gallon for my gas. That was just fucking awesome. Thanks, Joe Biden. I appreciate that. Just Duck, it's not okay for anyone to behave badly, but it's also not right to judge people for past actions by today's standards. You know what? That's a good point. I think you're right. That is a very good point, actually, because, my son was asking me about that the other day. I'm trying to think who he was talking about. Oh, I can't think who it was. He brought up somebody from the early 1900s. And was saying he was a bad person because he was racist. And I can't remember who he was talking about, but I can actually turn this a little bit into another person. If you think about baseball, you think about the Boston Red Sox. There was a guy by the name of Tom Yawkey that owned the Red Sox for many, many years. He bought the team in the early 1900s. He and the Boston Red Sox were the last team to have an African-American player play for their team. A gentleman by the name of Pumpsie Green was the first Red Sox player that ever joined the Boston Red Sox, and they were the last team in Major League Baseball to have an African-American on their team. Now, recently, the Boston Red Sox took Tom Yawkey's name off of the street sign outside of Fenway Park because he had been kind of a negative influence to some of these social issues. Hey, how you doing, Oliver? And how you doing, Father Brian, and everybody coming in? But, I mean, if you look at what Tom Yawkey did, though, he started the Jimmy Fund in Boston, which is a cancer organization that has literally raised billions of dollars to help combat cancer. And he was a guy that was born at a time in this country where the whole world was different. It was just different. I mean, if you were acting a certain way in 1932, there's probably a chance that that's pretty much how everyone acted in 1932. It was just the norm of the world. It's not to say that things were right for them to be that way. It's just how the entire world was. And you're right. It's very hard, I think, to judge people for past actions or things that happened 60, 70 years ago by today's standards. Do I think that some of the things that have happened today or are happening today are good things? I really do. I mean, I think it's honestly great that the young people in this country are, up to date and, are more understanding of people that, I'm sorry, I just see my son down in TikTok said meow, and then below him, Trump sucks 044 said he lost, LOL. That's all right, Trump sucks. Hey, you got Joe Biden, buddy. And you're getting exactly what you wanted. Trump sucks 044, and this is on TikTok. Joe Biden's got $3 gas prices. Joe Biden hasn't been seen in like a month. He's not in the Oval Office. He has killed 70,000 jobs with the Keystone Pipeline being shut down. Joe Biden's doing a great job, man. He's destroying the American economy. He's raising gas prices. The people in Texas are freezing to death. And his big plan for battling COVID is wear 2 masks. Way to go, Joe Biden. You're my fucking hero. You are someone to look up to in this country. You are an amazing American, and you have done absolutely nothing in your short time as president to better this country. You are an embarrassment to this country, and you are an embarrassment to the world. Biden for life. So there you go. Now, when you say Biden for life, though, Trump sucks. Remember, that could be like 30 to 40 days. I'm not sure how much time Biden has left. Right now, he's in a nursing home someplace getting his Depends diapers changed. And not in the Oval Office. But let's see. John, Texas isn't Joe Biden. No, you're right. No, Jonathan, Oliver Jonathan, you went on the other day when I lambasted Ted Cruz also. And, you've been on my show a few times, and there's no doubt I lean more Republican than anything else. But I'm someone that calls out Democrats as well, Democrats and Republicans both. Ted Cruz getting on a flight to Cancun with his daughters. I mean, honest to God, do you have shit for brains? Did you not know that you were going to end up on every media outlet looking like a damn jackass going and doing that? I get why he did it. He has money. His kids want to go to a warm climate. I get it. I understand. Would I have done the same thing if I wasn't in politics? Probably. If I had the means to get out of the area, I probably would have done exactly the same thing. But when you're a politician like that, you need to be there for your people, and he wasn't there for his people. So in the past, I have liked Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz absolutely fucked up and made a stupid decision there. So yeah, all around the same way. I'm actually independent. Way back in the day, I voted for Bubba Clinton twice. I'm old, so I can say I voted that far back. And he lost me once she, had sex with Monica Lewinsky and lied to the American people. So that's kind of when I turned to be more of a Republican. I voted for the Bushes, voted for McCain. I did vote for Obama once. And I'm gonna be honest. With me, you get brutal honesty all the time. When I voted for Obama, I did it on purpose because the delegates in Massachusetts will never go to a Republican. So my father-in-law would always give me a hard time about never voting Democrat. So I actually voted Democrat just to kind of shut him up so I could say I voted for Joe Biden, and I actually did do it. So that's the only time I actually voted for Obama. I didn't really want Obama to win, but I knew he was going to win, so my vote didn't matter. So Roastmaster Glenn, does Mrs. DeVito know you claim independence? She does. And let me be clear on Mrs. DeVito. I drive Mrs. DeVito crazy. She gets sick of hearing my political rantings, but I kind of got her this morning a little bit. So I kind of got her, and she was a little bit speechless for a few minutes. That doesn't happen very often. We were talking about the masks and, COVID and flu, and she's definitely a masker. She 100% believes that COVID is 100% legitimate, and it is legitimate. But she and I sometimes battle about if politicians are using, COVID for political gain, which I think that they are. But this morning, I said this earlier in the show, I saw a report out of England where England has not reported one flu case this entire winter. Not one. I thought that was impossible. So I was like, holy shit, how can that be possible that, they haven't reported one flu case? So I asked my wife, she's a doctor. And I said, okay, you test people for COVID all the time. How many flu cases have you had in your office this summer? She told me none. I'm like, none. I'm like, how can there be no flu cases whatsoever? That's impossible. And she said, well, the reason why there are no flu cases is because people are wearing their masks. And I said, okay, so if the masks are stopping flu, how come they're not stopping COVID? And at that point, I actually caused her to kind of stumble for a minute. That doesn't happen too often. She's usually ready to yell at me or hit me, and most times it's justified. I deserve it because I'm a pain in the ass. But, honestly, I'm tired of hearing about the masks. I'm tired of wearing the masks. I don't know if they're successful or not. I mean, I do wear a mask. I'm a good little soldier. When I go into a store, I do the things I'm supposed to do. When I go into a movie, I wear a mask. If I go into a restaurant, I walk in with my mask and then I take it off as soon as I sit down, which I think is the stupidest fucking thing on the face of the earth. Because then you're saying that when you're sitting down, I guess the COVID just goes like right over your head or something like that. So I don't know. It's just, stupid to me. But yeah, and then that leads me into, I don't know if you all saw it. I had a little battle on Twitter the other day, and I know Glenn saw it and Eric saw it. I had a guy, Radio Parlesque, who is on Podbean here occasionally. He's popped into my show a few times. And I just called out Dr. Fauci saying that we're going to have to wear masks into 2022, which I completely agree with. Once I'm vaccinated, I'm done with the masks. I'm not wearing these damn things for the rest of my lives. So I made a comment about Dr. Fauci, and the intelligent response I got back from Radio Parlesque was, fuck you, John, fuck you. Well, for me, I like to get a little bit more than that. If you really wanted to get on and dump on me, I mean, the Democrats are always talking about how they want to show the science and they want to prove certain things. I mean, just the fuck you, John, fuck you, that didn't really impress me. So he and I went back a few times, last night on Twitter, and I invited him to come on the show and gladly come on and talk if he'd like to. And we haven't seen him come in yet. But if he wants to come into the show, I would gladly have a healthy debate with him as to whether or not masks are actually protecting the American people. So anyway, dude, I'm kind of talking my ass off. We get a bunch of people in the room. If anybody wants to come in and call in, feel free to join us. Let's see. I only say when John does his solo OnlyFans show. Oh, wait a minute. I got to tell you guys this. Okay, we get a couple shows coming up. I forgot to even mention this. Now, this is going to be kind of funny. I had out of nowhere on Twitter, I had a guy reach out to me yesterday, okay? And the guy that came on yesterday, he apparently is the CEO of a magazine called Flirt magazine. I've never heard of it before. I'm a happily married man. I don't look at those things. So this guy actually wrote me, hey, Dean and Joe, this guy wrote me and wants to come on, and he wants me to interview him. He's the CEO of Flirt magazine. So I looked up Flirt magazine. If you don't know what it is, Google it. And he wants to come on. He wants me to interview him. He's going to apparently bring on some of his ladies with him. It's like porn. So it's like porn combined with like rock and roll. So it's kind of like Hustler or Playboy. So it's funny. I showed it to my wife last night. I'm like, hey, look at this. I had this guy write me and he wants to come on my show. And she's like, have him on the show. So I wrote him back, and I think I'm going to probably have him on the show. So we're going to have at some point. I got to talk to him in the next couple of days and set up a date. So get ready. When you see Flirt magazine, I'm going to be interviewing the CEO of Flirt magazine on the show. I'm going to have to research first. Apparently, he's going to bring on some of his ladies with him, and that should certainly be kind of an interesting show. I'm not sure even what to expect with that, but
the explicit button will be turned on for that one.
Oh, hell yeah! Now I may have to do video for that. I want to see the girls. I don't want to do just audio. I may have to finally figure out my YouTube page and explicit and all that stuff, so I can actually get these ladies on video so we can get a look. So that should be interesting. Another thing is, now Chris, I'm not sure if you're still here. You're going to want to be here for this one. The Exposing Agape people wrote to me, and they want to have another show where they have like 4 more people that want to get on the air and talk about some of the things that happened to them at the Agape boarding school. So again, they mentioned this Sunday. I don't know if I want to do this Sunday because I want to have more time to promote the show and make sure everybody knows about it. But if it is this Sunday, I will publish that and get the word out to everybody so we can fill up the live cast for these other people that want to come in. Now, another thing that came out, and this one kind of surprised me, Sue Corcoran wrote me. She was the person that set up all the Pamela Smart interviews, and she wants to have another interview. Apparently, there's some type of option now that might help Pam Smart get out of prison, and she wants to have one of Pam's attorneys come on the air with us and talk about what's going on in her case. So at some point, we're going to probably have that show as well. So I've got like some interesting things. I've got Pamela Smart reaching out to me, Exposing Agape reaching out to me, and then the CEO of Flirt magazine reaching out to me. So I'm not sure what the hell's going on with my show, but whatever. If people want to be interviewed, I'll give them their platform. Now, I don't know. So, and again, also for any of the ladies that may be in here, apparently Flirt magazine is looking for models. So if you think you have the stuff as to what it takes to be in Flirt magazine, you might want to come into that show because you can send your information in. You could be the latest model to grace the pages of Flirt magazine. Now, Eric, what do you think? Do you think I'm going to get like free copies or a free subscription? I should get something for putting them on the air.
I don't know.
No?
It's up to you.
You know what they could do? We could maybe talk to him about a special April 1st edition of Flirt magazine where I could actually be the centerfold. And I mean, talk about probably losing all of your readership in one issue. That would probably put an end to everything. But let's see. So I see Eric is saying Eminem, a.k.a. Homeboy, a.k.a. Elgato. Let's see. Send an email to John DeVito show at gmail.com.
The John DeVito show.
With pics, and John will pass them along. Yes, I will. And I'm going to have to hide that from my wife because she'll probably kill me if she ends up seeing that. So, yeah, a monthly pass. So I guess you can get the magazine in either digital form or or paper form. So is this Elgato? Is this Eminem?
Yeah, what's up, Detroit? Know what I'm saying?
Are you
what's
there?
Up, John
Have you
DeVito?
joined
What's
us?
up, Eric? Why you trying to?
Oh, there he is.
Why you try to blow up my?
It's the Slim Shady. The Slim
That's
Shady.
right. That's right. Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move the lips. Just a bunch of gibberish. And motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre. Know what I'm saying?
Oh man, you're the fucking best, man. I love you. So you're Eminem. You can be Michael Jackson. I mean, you can be pretty much anybody. You need to be my full-time voice guy on the show and just have you on all the fucking time. You know, I can't pay you anything, so it has to be for free because I don't make any money doing this. You know.
That's all right, dog. That's all right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, Eric, why you always gotta blow up my spot? You know what I'm saying?
Now, wait a minute.
We
Hold on.
love you as
Eminem.
Michael Jackson, and we love you as the Tony Montana.
Hold on.
Go
Hold on
along
now.
with the bit. You know what I'm saying?
Eminem, listen up now. We earlier in the show we were talking about Coca Cola, and they're training people to be less white. Now you're coming on and saying, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That is step one in the Coca Cola training video. If you want to be less white, you need to come up with terminology like, you know what I'm saying? Because generally, I don't think white people say that. So did you go to like a UPS training or a Coca Cola training that kind of taught you to be less white?
I don't even know how to answer that. You know what I'm saying? I'm from 8 Mile. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to say this. I love Coca Cola. Fuck Pepsi because it burned up Michael. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. Fucking, they almost killed Michael Jackson, man. They fucking set him on fire back in the day.
That's right. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And no matter me and Michael had our problems, you know what I'm saying? And he tried to sue me over the Just Lose It video. It's all good. I love you, Michael. MJ. Rest in peace, know what I'm saying?
I see Roastmaster Glenn. Yeah, I see that in the chat too, Glenn. Glenn says, thank God John's son came on. And that's Brandon DeVito up top. Brandon DeVito Q. Thank God John's son came on as his dad was advertising porn. Yes, that is true. Yes, that's all right.
Well, you know, and I know the sex and relationship, you know, theme shows have kind of taken the back burner. And on our next installment of that, we were hoping we could probably get Lady Fables and Yazzie Yaz from the Wall Report to join us, and even have returnees like Brian and Rebecca from Planet ADHD and a couple other podcast friends like come back, including Miss O.
And that's two shows I haven't been in lately. I gotta get Planet ADHD, man. Fucking Glenn does Brian does a great job on his show. Slightly serious, same thing. I haven't been in. The shows are on late. I'm always in bed early. I'm a pussy, and I go to bed at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Now, Roastmaster Glenn, are you going to be going live at all anywhere in the near future? Because I like to get on and hear your show live if it's not like super late. Because like I said, I'm a early to bed type of guy, you know. Yeah, I guess maybe next week I'll be going early to bed with a copy of Flirt magazine. All right, go ahead.
Hey, yo.
Yes.
I'm going to have to change the name of my new album. You know, due to creative similarities, know what I'm saying? It was called Planet ADHD. What a coincidence. Know what I'm saying?
Shit. Know what you're saying, brother. I know what you're saying. See, obviously you've been to the Coca Cola training. You're down, man. You got it going on. I guess I got to find a way to be less white. I don't know though. I'm a 53-year-old bald, fat white guy. How can I be less white? I mean, what the fuck am I going to do to change what I am? You know?
You got to grow up in 8 Mile of Detroit, know what I'm saying? And you got to go and you got to fucking impress all these motherfuckers with your lyrical skills, know what I'm saying?
I don't have any lyrical skills. I can talk all right, but I talk too fast. We all know that. But maybe that would translate into a rapping career. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Saturday Night Smoke. That's one thing I could do is I could get a bigger penis. That is true because, yeah.
I heard you're from the mean streets of Boston.
I'm from the mean streets of central suburban Whiteville, Massachusetts. So you're right. I'm in the mean streets out in the woods, and it's true though. Saturday Night Smoke. Now, see, I disagree with you a little bit there. I mean, I am 6'4". You know, probably I don't even know. I don't get on the scale because the scale just tells me to get off. But I think I weigh probably about 270 pounds, and I think I have a solid 2 inches when it's erect. So I think I'm doing okay. Penis wise, you know, my wife tells me I'm big though. You know,
it's okay. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I was 3'11", people still look up to me. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, you're fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Get
you know
it?
What I'm saying?
That's a double meaning. You know what I'm saying?
Music for his fame has entered the studio. I like that. Music for his fame.
Hey, I gotta go. I gotta go back in the studio, dog. Hey, yo, Dre. Hey, yo, Dre, crank that shit up in my headphones. Know what I'm saying?
Well, wait. Before you go, let me ask you a question. Now, do you ever hang with Snoop Dogg and do you smoke weed with him?
Oh no.
Come on, I know you do.
Snip was talking shit about me, you know what I'm saying? Me and him, we're not talking right now, homeboy.
Okay, hold on one second. I got to make a comment here. My son, who's 11, just said in my chat, I can swallow a bottle of alcohol, feel like Godzilla. Dude, I'm going to ground you. What the fuck does that mean?
Alcohol, feel like Godzilla. Yeah, he knows my song, know what I'm saying?
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. So you're talking. All right. I was going to ground your ass for that. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, like Big Bob and a Brain Heenan. You know what I'm saying? All right. Peace out, dog.
Brother, man. Thanks for coming in. Good talking to you.
Peace.
See ya.
All right. Hey, good. That's the man of many names. Today he was Eminem. He came in and kicked it. And obviously his training's working. He definitely sounds less white. So good for him. You know, he figured it out. You know,
I think he would give like Mel Blanc, the man of 1,000 voices, a run for his money.
Mel Blanc was awesome. He was the voice of like what Fred Flintstone, Barney Rubble, like all those cartoon characters. Back in the day,
he
right?
did a lot. He did a lot of like voices for cartoon characters back in the day. And I think among his final performances were like the voices of animated characters you saw in like the Jetsons movie from 1990 and Who Framed Roger Rabbit from 1988.
That was actually me. That wasn't my sound machine. I had to kind of rip one. This is my sound machine. Hold on. Where is it? There we go. That was a better burp than I did. But so anyway, listen, Eric, I've got to actually, let's see. Oh, I see Roastmaster Glenn's comment, but Eric, I got to get back to work. So I got to cut this show. And today's Thursday. I'll probably do another one maybe tomorrow or Saturday. But before I get off, I see Roastmaster Glenn from to John's penis to grounded preteens for underage drinking to porn. That's right, baby. John brings it all together. You never know what you're going to get on the John DeVito show. And that's why all you poor suckers keep coming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Eric.
Well, but of course, the Podbean shows and Podbean friends to be on the lookout for. Throughout the afternoon today, of course, you've got, Milk Dog hanging out with friends like he always does, and also be on the lookout later for Laura to do her communication station podcast, and Pink Squirrel to do whose podcast is This Anyway show, and Chris to do the Forgotten Tunes music show, and Robert to do the Mr. Clean music show, and then Oliver doing the Daily Struggle of Middle-Aged Men, which is going in a new direction, of course, and then Jeremy will be back later on this evening for the Cummings is Culture podcast, and hopefully Chuck and Billy's Not Your Cup of Tea will have a show on this evening. And if the Slightly Serious show is not on tonight at its normal time of 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, be on the lookout for him to go live around 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. But hopefully on Friday he should be back in his normal time slot. And then this Thursday's edition of Trice Talk, it's their 100th show. So hopefully, Jeff Stuck and Mr. T and Mr. A and Laura and Chris and Mike Tampa Bay and of course Homeboy and a few other friends will show up for that. It should be a great show. And then, of course, the Friday edition of the Chit Chat with the Old Man show tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then over the weekend, Dennis Lee
Hey, Eric, hold on a second. Hey, Glenn, could you mute your line, please? I think whatever's going on in your house is coming through on the broadcast here. So, Glenn, please mute, all right? All right, go ahead, Eric.
And then you've also got, like I said, Lyrical Laxatives over the weekend, and along with Tall Tales in the Rabbit Hole and the Old Man's Friday night and Sunday music shows. Definitely be on the lookout for them. And also be on the lookout for Lady Me to do her A Day in the Life of Me podcast. And look forward to us getting to do some more shows again soon, John.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm gonna be back as much as I can.
And then Brian and Rebecca's Planet ADHD as well, if you're into that.
No, I'm going to be back as much as I can. I'm busy with work right now, but I'm going to work in shows when I can. And I guess I will end the show today with the immortal words of Radio Parlesque on Twitter, who said to me, "Fuck you, John. Fuck you." I'll end my show with that. Thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate that. And anytime you want to come on the air and debate me about masks, I'm here. But I do appreciate the "fuck you, John. Fuck you." Thank you. That was a good argument, and I do appreciate that. So, without further ado,
thank you to all those who joined us in today's show, including Mr. A, Mike Tampa Bay, Jesta, Chris, Oliver, Saturday Night Smoke, Sandor, Sarmenti, and of course Rick and Glenn, and Brian and Rebecca and Alpha Mike and many other names that joined us.
You know what, Eric? Maybe that's how I should end all my shows now. I see. Glenn just said "fuck you, John." To all the people that came in, Eric was giving all of you a nice kind of thank you for coming in. I'm just going to say to all the people that came into my show, fuck all of you. All right, fuck all of you. Thanks for coming in, but fuck all of you. I'm going to end it like that. All right. So hopefully we'll see all you guys soon. Take care now. Bye.
See you next time, everybody.
Where's my music? Where is it? There it is. There's always a delay. I'm not very professional. All right, take care, everybody. Man, 26 people come in. It's not bad, huh? 26 people.
I gotta go back to class.
Oh, yeah, you probably should. I know what you're saying, Jerem. He's funny, isn't he?